Everybody is talking about AI, right? Investment is just pouring in. CEOs are pushing like crazy to get it into their companies. But here's the weird thing, the paradox. If everyone's going all in on AI, why are so many of them, well, failing? We're going to unpack that disconnect and figure out a better way forward. Just take a look at this number, 95%. According to a recent and honestly pretty shocking MIT study that tech leader Sandy Carter highlighted, that's the failure rate for corporate AI initiatives. We're not talking about a small hiccup here. This is a massive, systemic problem. And let's be super clear about what this means. Sandy Carter puts it perfectly. She says they're not struggling, failing. This isn't about hitting a few speed bumps. No, this is about projects completely missing the mark, which makes this one of the biggest business mysteries we need to solve right now.
So yeah, this is the 95% problem. And when you start digging into it, you find this huge gap between the incredible promise of AI and the messy reality of how it's being used in the real world.
You have to ask, with billions of dollars being thrown at it and just endless hype, why does the magic fail? Why does AI seem to lose its sparkle the second it walks through the corporate door? Well, it turns out the answer has almost nothing to do with the technology itself. And this quote from Sandy Carter just absolutely nails it. She says, "If your process already didn't work, there's no magic in AI that's going to make it wake up and work." You see, companies are treating AI like some kind of magic wand they can wave over their existing broken processes. But AI isn't a band-aid. It's more like a spotlight that just makes the cracks that were already there even more obvious.
And this really shows you the two different roads companies are taking. On the left, you've got the failing 95%. They're treating AI like any other software update. It's a top-down order to buy a tool, slap it on top of everything, and just cross their fingers for a productivity miracle. But the successful 5%, they're on the right. They see AI for what it is, a fundamental transformation. They get their hands dirty with what Carter calls playstorming. They focus on solving real business problems, and, this is the big one, they put a ton of effort into managing the human side of that change.
Okay, so if that's the wrong way to do it, what's the right way? Well, getting into that successful 5% club requires a totally different way of thinking. It's all about adopting a new, human-first mindset.
The philosophy that guides that 5% is AI first, human always. And this is the key right here. It means, yeah, you go all in on AI as a core part of your strategy, but you never, ever forget that its whole purpose is to serve people. It's not about replacing us, it's about amplifying the things we humans do best, our judgment, our creativity, our connections with each other. Now, I know that might sound a little abstract, so let's look at a fantastic, real-world example from a company called Bonusly. They really show us what human always actually looks like in action. So here's the brilliant insight that Bonusly had. For years, companies have treated employee recognition, a simple thank you or great job, as just a soft, fluffy perk. Bonusly realized that all those little moments of recognition are actually a rich, untapped river of data about what's really working in a company, who's helping who, and what actions are actually driving success. So they built this incredible feedback loop. It all starts with a human connection, one person giving another person genuine praise. The AI doesn't write the praise, it just listens. It reads that human praise and pulls out the key data, skills, values, project impact. Then it sends those insights to managers, giving them a live, data-rich picture of their team's culture and what's really going on. It's the perfect example of using AI to find the crucial signals inside all the human noise. And as Bonusly puts it themselves, they use AI to strengthen what is irreducibly human. See, it's not about automating relationships. It's about using technology to make our human interactions more visible, more meaningful, and way more effective. The Bonusly example is amazing, but it brings up the most important question of all, right? How do you actually do this? How does your company stop being part of the 95% and finally join that successful 5%? Well, the good news is, there is a playbook. If you distill the advice from leaders like Sandy Carter, you can actually find a clear, actionable set of steps for leading a successful AI transformation. And it really boils down to these three simple, but absolutely critical starting points. First, stop creating AI projects. Just stop. Instead, find a real business problem and ask how AI could help solve it. Second, make someone own the human side of things, the change management. And third, you have to get your data in order. AI runs on data, and if you feed it garbage, guess what you're going to get out? Garbage. To help us kind of visualize all this, Carter created this framework she calls the AI architecture. I know, it looks a little complex, but it's really just a blueprint for building an organization that's powered by AI.
And you can see it's built in layers from the ground up. At the very bottom, the foundation, you have your data and infrastructure. Then you build your algorithms and governance on top of that. And only then, at the very top, do you get to the cool stuff, the applications and the human bits like skills and security. It just shows you that everything has to be built in the right order.
The analogy is actually super simple and powerful. Building an AI organization is a lot like building a house. And what's the most important part of any house? The foundation. In the world of AI, your data is that foundation. Everything else, the cool algorithms, the rules, the apps people actually use, all of it rests on the quality of your data. If you have a weak foundation, the whole house is eventually going to come crashing down. Okay, let's zoom out for a minute. Once you get this stuff right, the potential is just staggering. Research is suggesting that AI agents could soon take over the tedious work that eats up almost 7 hours of our workday. So I'll ask you the same question Sandy Carter asks. What would you do with an extra 7 hours every single day? Because the answer to that question, that points to the true future of AI. This isn't just about doing the same old things a little bit faster. It's about fundamentally changing the things we do. The future is all about experience. You see, the ultimate goal here isn't just to squeeze out more productivity. It's to free us up from all that tedious work so we can focus on creating new, amazing, human-centric experiences. Things like deep connection and real creativity. We're moving from an age of information to an age of experience, where the real value lies in how we work, how we connect, and how we live. And that brings us to the final and most important takeaway from all of this. If you want to win with AI, you have to completely change the question you're asking. Stop asking, what tech should we buy? And start asking, what human problem can we solve? That shift in thinking, right there, is the one thing that separates the 95% who are failing from the 5% who are busy building the future.